Hi, this will be a video to introduce how to install Cardano Smart using Docker or Kubernetes. So we have a repository clone here already, and the important thing for Docker is these folders, Docker and private GPT Docker configs. Because here you can use the script to actually install the project and launch it. And here in this folder, you can configure the default model to use in the project. You can also configure that in command line when installing. But if you don't specify it while installing, it will be picked up from here. You can also tweak settings, how the model is prompted, like what parameters to use while prompting the model, also context size, max new tokens, etc. These values are already good for RAG systems, but if you want, you can play with them and see whether the results are better or not. Let's go to setup local file. So this script is to install the Docker approach, and it has some parameters which you can use, or you don't have to use them. You can just simply launch the setup local sh and that's it, and use the default values. But the parameters you can use is, for example, you show that you want to use only CPU for model prompting, and also you can show that you want to use GPU, but this is unnecessary because the default way is GPU. And also you can choose a model which would be picked up when installing the Docker approach. And also you can use a skip scraping parameter, and this is when you know that your document is up to date and you don't want to wait for scraping process. You just add this parameter and launch a script, and that way it will only ingest what is already scraped. Let's now launch the setup command to see what we can do. Docker setup local, and now we can set the model if we want. For example, model equals, and then we can pick some model. For example, we can go to Olama, for example, go models, and you can see what you can choose. For example, if we want Gemma 3, it also has more than one versions. Well, the bigger the GPU you have, the better the model you can choose. For example, 27B can fit into 24 VRAM, 24 gigs of VRAM. So like something like 4090, it will be good enough. So maybe for now we just take Gemma 3, which defaults to 4B. So we can take this value and put it here in the model. Also, we could actually do the CPU, but currently I want it to run on GPU. I won't use that option. And also we could do the skip scraping, but let's now not skip the scraping. So with this command, we should be able to start the installation of Docker approach of this project. The Docker containers are actually started, and currently what we are waiting for is the scraping process to finish. For example, we could go and see the logs. Docker logs follow Cardano Smart repo. It would be doc scraper, and then we can attach to the logs. So these logs are live from the scraper, and it will take like, I don't know, maybe 5 minutes or so, and it will scrape all the newest documentation from Cardano websites, and then we can move on. While we are waiting, I can show you how to see the logs without command line. If you have the VS Code, you can have the Docker plugin, which you can install, like it's the Docker extension. And the Docker extension has these containers showed up. And if you want to see the logs, for example, on Docker Scraper, you do a view logs, and then you can see them. You can also attach to the actual container if necessary, and we could do that on Ollama to get the list of models. We go to attach shell. Now we are in the Ollama container, so Ollama list, and we can see a bunch of models are already downloaded. So we are gonna use this model for embeddings, and also we are gonna use the Gemma 3 model, but it is not yet downloaded because we are only in the scraping phase, and once we get into the ingestion phase, then this will download the Gemma 3 4 billion model, and then we will see it here. So the scraping has ended, and we now can go and see the logs of ingestion. So we can use the Docker extension, go to private GPT service, and then go to view logs. So this is how it looks when it's ingesting. If you don't use the Docker extension, you can do it by hand, going to Docker logs, follow Cardano Smart private GPT, and use the tab to complete, and you can see the logs that way. Let's wait to the end of ingestion. It will take maybe 5 minutes or so. It looks like it finished the scraping process. So it listed all the files it scraped, and it means that now we can test the application in localhost. So let's go to other window. Let's go to localhost, and you can see that we have the application. What is Cardano? And what language should we use to write smart contracts on it? Okay. It got the context. Now it has the context, and now it prompts the main large language model for the answer. Maybe we should see that with NVTop, with this tool, we can see that our GPU is currently heavy loaded, and we got the answer. Okay, according to the text, Cardano introduced smart contracts in 2021. I'm not sure if it's true, maybe. And now supports developing them using multiple languages. Here's a list of languages you can use. So yeah, and where it got this information from, you can check in references, Cardano docs. So here, so it read it here, and also it used this source about smart contracts. Okay, so you can also use the sources button to see when the scraping occurred, what files were imported. So you can see all the list of the files, and also you can see what actual links are scraped. We have something on these languages. Yeah, so how Cardano handles proposals from Oh, okay, so we already have it off-chain. Okay, so here's how Cardano handles proposals functionally based on the provider text. So we can see Cardano governance, Cardano developer portal, and also introduction to Cardano portal governance portal. So from that one, and also from this one, governance. Yeah, so now if you want to stop the Cardano Smart containers, you can do just docker compose down. This command will stop the containers. Okay, now let's go ahead and see how it is done in Kubernetes environment. We have a build script folder. This folder is for building the images for Kubernetes to use. These images are public already, and they work, and you don't have to build these images if you don't change anything in the code. But if you want to change something like parameters or model or anything, you can rebuild these images and then use them in your Kubernetes environment. To demonstrate that, I will build these images once again. So we have build doc scraper, build frontend, and also build private GPT. With private GPT case, we also have some commands to copy settings files into this project private GPT folder before building. So, and one important thing to mention is that the built image gets uploaded to the repository, to the Docker repository, or like Docker registry. This is my own repository, but you can use your own, and you have to change this name here. So this is your registry name, and this is the project name, and you will have to use that in Kubernetes deployments to show where to pull the image from. So keep that in mind. And this command works because I have logged into my Docker Hub account. And how do you log in? You do Docker login. Sorry. You do Docker login, and then it authenticates. But I already done that. It found the key, so that's why it already succeeded. But it will prompt you for password if you didn't do that yet. So let's now start building. Let's build the doc scraper. Yeah, so it will be build doc scraper. Also, let's build the front end. And for the private GPT build, there is a parameter that you can use, a model. So you can do, for example, build private GPT, and that would be it. And this would take the default value, which is here, llama 3.2, 1 billion, and then we'll build the image with this. But you can change that here in the script, or you can just put the value here. Let's go to the models again, and this time let's pick something like this. So that will be a fun model to test. So just paste the value here and run the script. Okay, now the image is built, and we can go to Kubernetes folder where we can find the Kubernetes manifests and installation scripts. I now went to a different machine, the same folder, but from that machine I can use the kubectl command, because it is installed. It has to be installed if you want to control your Kubernetes cluster, and this could be your own cluster, or it could be in the cloud somewhere, for example, Google Cloud Engine. So the thing is that you have to have accessible kubectl command. So that's why I went into the different setup. But the folders are the same, everything is the same, like in the main Git repository. So what we have here, we have the installation scripts, also configuration file. For example, let's go into configuration file, and you can set the IP address where you want this service to be available at. Because this is the private self-hosted cluster, it does not have the load balancer like it produces external IPs, but instead it uses Metal LB to host everything, well, to create a virtual load balancer IP, and it is internal in local area network. So I put the IP address here, what to assign for it, and then when it gets installed, it will be accessible from this IP. Also, I made separate installation files for Cardano Smart and for Ollama, because if you have your own Kubernetes cluster, most likely you already have Ollama on that cluster, but if not, you can use this install script to install it. But I just didn't want to merge these two things into one installation file, because you might already have the Ollama installed, and you could use that instead. So, and also we have uninstall scripts. Actually, I already have the Cardano Smart installed on the Kubernetes cluster, so we will be able to see the uninstall process. So kubectl get pods namespace Cardano Smart, and you can see the front-end scraper and private GPT pods already running. The scraper did its job and exited, so that's why it's not ready currently, and it's completed. So we just have to do the uninstall Cardano Smart, and it gets uninstalled. that way. So currently, if we get the pods, we don't get anything. Not even namespace now exists. So to show how to install it, before that, I might show you the models. I might show you the image paths where to get the images from. For example, in private GPT deployment, we can see that we have these image path where to get the image from, the registry path. So if you change that in building process, you also have to change it here. So that, and same for Olama, for example, if you want to host the Olama, you can change the image here. For example, you want to have a specific version or something, you do it here. Or you just can simply start the installation script and that's it. So install Cardano Smart. Okay, now the scraping process has begun, and we can actually see what they look like, what the scraping process looks like. Let's go to kubectl get pods namespace Cardano Smart first. So we can see that the front end is just hanging there, not doing much, but also we have a doc scraper which does the job currently. We can get the logs from it. Kubectl get, or not, kubectl logs follow namespace Cardano Smart, and then this. So this is the same logs you saw in the Docker approach, but now it does in Kubernetes environment. Also, you can see how much resources it uses. So you can see that, and maybe if we go and add the watch command, you can see about, well, not much of resources while scraping. Not even one core of CPU is currently used. Let's wait until the scraping process is done. I left this process for a longer time, so let's check whether the scraping process is already finished. Logs, now namespace Cardano Smart, private GPT. Yeah, it is currently ingesting. Okay, I can see that the process of ingestion is finished. So we can go to, just to check what is running, kubectl get pods namespace Cardano Smart, and then we can see that all three are deployed, but the init doc scraper is finished. So let's go to see the web page. Okay, let's add something. For example, what's the okay, I have some question prepared already. What's the difference between Haskell and Bluetooth? Okay, we got the answer. So this is how we can install Cardano Smart using Docker and also deploy it on Kubernetes cluster. And for more details, look into a README file in the repository. Also, there's FAQ section, and you can also see the docs folder for diagrams if you need some more information or you find a bug, you can open a ticket in a GitHub page.